Hello everyone, I'm Charlie and this is Charlie's Reviews. So as you may know, it's a little bit dark. It's because we've been having sort of cloudy days recently here in Mexico. So it just might clear up a bit throughout the video. So sorry about that, and I could add more exposure to the lens, but you know. Anyways, this week, uh, heavy week for me. 6 books, 4 of them came late. I actually picked them up yesterday, Monday. But on Thursday, which is usually when I pick up my books, 2 of them did arrive at, the other shop did get their books on time, but it's the small shop that been having a bit of a problem with their shipping. So, um, for this episode, I'll talk about the books that I read first, and then in part two I'll talk about the rest. So let's get on to it. First off, my personal favorite, one of my personal favorites, Ghost. This is issue number 9. It's also one of those starting point issues. It starts a new arc, and so as a starting point, uh, we do get a little bit of a recap from you know previous issues right here. But since last issue, Elisa learned about got her memories back, we get a little bit more information on her, and we also learn that she's been sort of watching over her family and friends, going all intangible and invisible, just watching over them. And that sort of serves as the starting point for this story because as she's watching her sister, two guys try to kidnap her. Uh, so she's able to save her, and that leads her to uh, you know um, to a human trafficking ring, women trafficking ring, and that sort of sets the tone for at least part of the story of this new arc. She decides that she's going to fight, get the heads of this ring, the mob, gangs running, in Chicago who are involved in this. She does seem to get some of the heads at the very end. Uh, and it does seem once again like a much more traditional superhero uh, story. But we are told at the in the later column that there's more to it than that. So it seems that at least story-wise, plot-wise, the structuring is rather predictable. I could be wrong, uh, but the fact that it seems that it's something much more traditional, and then uh, going to the more supernatural, which is what you expect from this book, as that was how it was originally designed to be. The miniseries, uh, the first arc done by both by Callisto DeConnick had more of that the supernatural feel, unless superhero stuff. Uh, so if it goes like it's something like very traditional, then it goes to the more supernatural, it would be a repeat, I guess, from at least structure wise, plot wise, to the last arc. So this is just the start of it. So I really don't know where it's going to go. The more interesting aspect, though, is, as I mentioned before, the larger stuff. So we have a lot of character moments. Uh, of course, there's even if she knows her past now, she doesn't really feel connected to her family. Elisa doesn't feel connected to her family. There's some connection there, but there's nothing that will connect her much more. There's something, but it feels like to her it's her whole life, and that's gone. Of course, then there is the struggle, and that's why I really like this cover. Uh, because there's a struggle now that the last arc, she, especially in the last issue number 8, she sort of embraced uh, the other side of her, the darker ghost side of her, uh, and pretty much that the struggle, she's afraid of this part of her, the darker side of being ghost. There's the more human side, uh, which has restraint, a conscience. But once she lets the ghost out, things do go bad. Sort of like, yes, this issue ends. Pretty much when she lets the ghost go, she really, you know, um, does terrible things. So that, so there's our internal struggle with her, the emotional struggle as well, and I think that's the more interesting part of this series. Besides the more superficial stuff, which is the actual story. Uh, this with this we have art by Harry Olibao, which if you which actually did Green Arrow during the Annuncenti run. Um, I like the art, nothing extraordinary, but sometimes it does feel a little inconsistent uh, at times. But it's overall, I'm still liking this book. Uh, then we have the Skyman one shot. Um, this one I actually picked up the mini series, so this sort of continues the story. This is a more sci-fi oriented stuff. Skyman encounters an alien who crash landed on Earth, so he's gotta protect this creature from Project Black Sky. The story is by Spencer Cushing, but it has the same art team as the Amini, which is Manuel Garcia and Marta Martinez on colors. So there's a little bit of consistency there. Nothing extraordinary. I do have a bit of problems with the art though and the coloring because at times it does, at least to me, it sort of looks sort of like muddied. You have a black character, you know, at, with mostly night scenes, and those sort of very heavily shadowed, doesn't really look well at times. Sometimes you can't even really tell, you know, figures. If you have, it just sort of looks undefined. The faces look undefined at times. That the heavy shadow doesn't work. I don't think the coloring does anything to help it. But it was an okay story. Finally, So unsurprisingly enough, I did not read the Superman books first. I usually do. This time, I actually the first DC book I read was Green Arrow number 36. So I didn't do my review on Green Arrow number 35 uh, because the whole first week of October was incredibly late. I mean, they arrived all of them around the third week. So so I'll probably do a two reviews in one year. So this is the second issue with the new team. I gotta say I'm actually liking this new run. I mean, yeah, it's not Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, but I mean, writing wise, um, I wasn't too concerned with it because the people involved are really already into the Green Arrow universe. In fact, Andrew Kreisberg wrote the Green Arrow Black Canary book. So, with writing wise, I wasn't too concerned, but definitely the art. You go back to some very traditional art here. Uh, so there's nothing extraordinary about the art. I mean, you've seen the books, just you know very very ordinary storytelling elements. Sorry about the glare, it's a little too bright. Nothing extraordinary there, but I'm liking the story. And yeah, so while a lot of supporting characters from the past three runs have been taken off, Naomi, of course, had showed up since Green Arrow number one, and Henry V that was added by Jeff Lemire. They're all gone, and Miko is gone. Not completely gone. I mean, they could show up at any time. But I was very intrigued by by this series. Um, excuse me. Sorry about that. I just trying to. So sorry if it's a little dark. So I avoid the glare. So um, the thing that actually interested me more about this new run, it wasn't that they're bringing in Felicity Smoke back into comics. The character actually, the original character actually appeared back in the 80s in the Firestorm number 23 and was a very minor supporting character in the Firestorm book. Uh, Nothing extraordinary about that character. The show actually did make her much more interesting than than the obscure character that she was. No, actually, the one thing that actually intrigued me about this book was this girl, Mia Dearden, the Speedy number two, has been reintroduced in the new 52 and apparently will become part of at least this team's supporting cast. Uh, so pretty much, you know, I've been liking it. And if bringing characters from from the TV shows. I think unlike Marvel, which they're really trying to bring their whole cinematic universe TV into their comics now. I think Marvel is actually doing a lot of rebooting for their or revamping of their older characters, like Deadlock. You have now they're actually making look like the character from Shield, but with Green Arrow, I mean, this is the one book. I mean, DC couldn't really do what they're doing here in any of their other books. Bringing the more uh, movie TV show look because a lot of the characters already have established histories and they're not gonna change anything. But with this book, this is the sort of book that's perfect for it because um, you know the Green Arrow universe it's isn't that established that defined as say the Flash. Uh, so bringing in the more TV influence uh, characters, I think, and looks, at least for the supporting cast, works better. It doesn't really change anything, and Green Arrow's backstory, it's intact. They do a little reference to the Justice League United. Uh, I like that they're bringing in Mia. I really like that character before the whole new 52 had you know at least for the time being taken her away. Um, so yeah, so you know story wise, writing wise, it's great. The art might be a little bit of a letdown, after the amazing art by Mr. Andres Sorrentino and the coloring. Uh, but it's still a pretty good story. So that's it for this part. In part two, I'll go with the other books that I got this week or last week.